We just completed another successful Keynote Speaker Reel Day. So what is Keynote Speaker Reel Day? It is a day dedicated to all you keynote speakers out there. You get a fresh stage in 45 minutes to give us your latest and greatest content. We record you in high definition, high quality, acceptable on all platforms. So are you a keynote speaker? What is a keynote speaker? We talked to President of NSA, John Edwards, and he tells us all about being a keynote speaker.
Now I'd like to introduce our presenter.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
John Edwards. He is a keynote speaker, nationally known. I'm Natasha. I spent 13 years producing the morning show and news all across the country, even in New York. And now I have my own company, TLG Photography and Film Group. And I met John at an annual event, and he has just been so kind to talk to me about a keynote speaker. What is it? So John, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, thanks. Just a pleasure to be here with you. So I am a leadership futurist. And so I lean into the future to understand what we need to have, be, and do today in order to be successful tomorrow. My career has spanned a couple of Fortune 100 companies where I had the privilege of being a leader, serving in a leadership role there. And I am now a professional keynoter who's spoken around the world on a variety of different topics, usually about leadership.
Wow, that's really amazing. So what got you into becoming a keynote speaker?
Well, it started early in my career in sales, and then I became a sales manager. And that was during a time where we had the false belief that if you were really good at selling things, then you would also be really good at teaching other people how to sell things. Now, in my case, that turned out to be true, but we quickly found out that as a global rule was not actually very accurate. But that got me into sales training. And from sales training, I got, as I mentioned before, a few leadership roles in different organizations. And it always brought me back around to leadership development and into that space of leadership development. And I just at one point came to understand that this was my passion. This was my true love that I wanted to do. And so it allows me to take my experience working in corporate America and my passion for helping to teach others and helping them to achieve success and bring all of those things together. And here I am living the dream.
I like that. And I like Leadership Futurist. I really like that. So what's some of the most memorable stages you've graced as a keynote speaker?
Oh, some of the most memorable stages. Well,
That when you're trying not to look guilty, exactly, you're going to look guilty. I'm trying to figure out, how do I walk without looking guilty?
Two come to mind. My largest audience ever was about 40,000 people.
Wow.
On a virtual presentation. And I still to this day remember the level of nervousness I had all around speaking to 40,000 people around the world. My favorite stage, though, was in Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, for a few thousand folks there. And that was just an absolute privilege to be in that notorious city and getting the opportunity to speak to such a phenomenal audience.
Nice. So when becoming a keynote speaker, I know it's not easy. You have to have the background and the qualifications and the experience. So what's like the 5 top tips for someone trying to book a keynote speaker gig?
Now, if you as a friend of mine came to me and said, hey, I know this guy, John, he's great, he spoke at my event, that's really going to reduce my fear and anxiety quite a bit. So referrals are a really, really big deal in tracking down how well a speaker has done in the past. And so that's number one. I think the number 2 thing is this person really qualified? There are leadership speakers out there who've never been a leader. And so I have to ask myself, that's great that you want to be a leadership speaker, but you don't have any lived experiences. You don't have any learned experiences. You don't have your own failures as a leader to draw upon as a lesson, for example. And so I just wonder about qualifications would be one of the more important things to do there. And then third, here's what we know about audiences today. Audiences today not only want information and inspiration, but they want an experience. And when you're sitting in the audience, you just want to escape everything that's going on in the world and just be in the moment, in the flow between you and the speaker. And so for someone hiring a keynote speaker, are you hiring someone that can create a holistic experience for your audience members that allow them to just lose themselves in the moment? Yeah, so for speakers that are looking for engagements and opportunities, I often will advise the folks that I mentor to start small. Very often we'll see a very successful keynote speaker and we get really, really eager to be like that person. And what we don't understand is how long the journey has been for that person to get up in front of thousands of people and create a magical moment for them. And so start small. I would speak at every Rotary Club you can, every garage sale, every supermarket parking lot, wherever you can find an audience. Start small and get comfortable with that. And then one of the things that we talk about in the National Speakers Association is always give them more than they're paying for. So if you're charging $500 for a speech, make sure you're giving them one that's worth at least $1,000. And if you're charging $1,000 for your speech, make sure you're giving them a $2,000 value. And the only way you're really going to know that is through experiencing speech after speech after speech, so that you have a sense of what the value is, what the reaction is from your audience. And so start small and build it yourself up.
Yeah, that's great advice. Too often people don't like to start small. When I first started my company, I was doing a lot of things for free, small events, and then it just grew. So starting small is a big one, and then it adds to your experience. So I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Something about being a keynote speaker that a person wouldn't normally know.
Tell you something about being a keynote speaker that someone wouldn't normally know?
Yes.
And that is, you're always going to get nervous.
I never knew that.
And when you no longer get nervous, that's when you should get worried. And let me tell you why. Because you get nervous because you're so focused on wanting to give the audience your best, and so as a result, there will just always be a level of nervousness. Now, the reason why you would worry if that goes away is because the day that I no longer get nervous is the day that I might be getting a little too arrogant. It's the day that I might not be able to give you my best, because nervousness, there's different types of nervousness, of course. And sometimes in my past, I've gotten so nervous it actually depletes my performance. But otherwise, that nervousness can actually contribute to you doing your very best. And so, there's eustress and distress, right? Two different types of stress. And eustress is a kind of stress that can actually help you to really shine on the platform or on the stage. And so embrace the nervousness and realize that it can be your ally and it can be your friend.
I never knew that. I always thought that keynote speakers were never nervous. It's something that they didn't have as nerves.
Yeah, I think the longer you do it, the better you get at hiding it.
Yeah.
But it's still there.
All right. So you have a book out. Can you tell me about your book?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I actually have 6 books that I've published, and I'm really excited about my most recent book, which is called Build Your Best Brain, What You Need to Know, the Habits You Need to Build Today for When Stuff Hits the Fan Tomorrow. That's the subtitle of it. And so it talks a bit about the all of my books are neuroscience-based, but they're very, very applicable. I also have a book out for speakers called Move. How to move, how to inspire behavior change in your audience. So this is really about moving from information to inspiration. And I've always wanted to study the psychology behind a speaker who can really move both the hearts and minds of his or her audience versus someone who just sort of entertains you and you're like, oh, that was really nice, but nothing in your life has changed. And so I wrote a book that dives into what a speaker needs to do in order to really move the hearts legitimately, not manipulatively, and move the hearts and minds of the audience.
Nice. And where can people find your book?
All of my books are available on Amazon, or they're also linked on my website. And so edwardsgroup.org, you would find the books listed there as well. And they're also listed on Amazon.
All right. Thank you, John Edwards, for speaking with me. It really takes people like you to help support small businesses. And I'm glad people got to know about you because you're amazing. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.